Good morning. The Academy members have been asked to vote on some proposed amendments to the AAPM&R bylaws, and the full text is in our packet. Last year, the bylaws recommendation to add an advanced practice provider membership category was approved by a vote at the annual business meeting. And today, we have a revision of our bylaws, and the Board of Governors feels that this is more of a clarification to the bylaws that will demonstrate that as physiatrists, we are supporting our APP partners as part of the rehab team and encourage APP, or advanced practice providers, engagement under the leadership of a physiatrist. So this is the recommendation. It's highlighted in red. Basically, what we're recommending is that the advanced practice provider, a nurse practitioner, or PA, be sponsored by the physiatrist that they're working with. They can either be a current fellow, a part-time fellow, or an associate member as a sponsor. And this is just a slide to say that if this doesn't get approved, that the advanced practice providers are still members of the Academy, but without a physiatric sponsor, according to our decision last year.
Now I'd like to call for a motion in support of the bylaws change.
Quick question.
Do we have a second?
A second.
Thank you. And discussion, please. Will you step up to the microphone?
So I'm just looking on the membership report. It says there's 24 APPs that are already, I guess, applied and approved for membership.
That is correct.
So does this current motion then apply to them, or do they? Or not necessarily?
Moving forward, this current motion bylaws change will apply to them as they renew their membership.
So
Yes.
they're not necessarily affiliated with somebody.
We don't know that information, but moving forward, as they renew their membership, we'll ask for that information. Thank you. In the front, thank you.
So I work with a number of APPs that would be glad to sponsor them, but just as a matter of clarification, I don't work with them directly every day. I supervise them overall. Is there any limitation on the number of APPs that a fellow member could sponsor?
I don't think so.
I think no.
No.
Not currently.
You're-
Not as currently.
And we are, answer would be no. And we're really not going to look at how closely you work with them, but assume that they are working with you or your group or your institution in a collaborative practice, is our assumption.
We believe they should be working with a physiatrist and supervised by a physiatrist, and so, but we don't want to limit that membership.
Yeah, thank you.
Jen?
Please.
Kind of building on the last comment, I think, so there is a unlikely but theoretical possibility in the current language to staff the membership through sponsorship. If there is not associated language about, some of this relationship. So again, I think that's very unlikely, but in terms of risks to bylaw changes, we could in theory imagine that we have a physiatrist member who wants to has a specific agenda and sponsors 100 advanced practice providers to join the membership. And so I'm just curious about process for risk mitigation, or if there's other language that I'm not aware of here that would assist in that facilitation.
There are, I think I heard most of your question. I may have misunderstood it. I apologize. There are restrictions on who are voting members and who can serve in some leadership roles.
So they're restricted, but you're right, this doesn't have a restriction that somebody could have 100 or 200 or 300 APPs come and join. But from our standpoint, if they're joining our membership and they are working with physiatrists and they're serving in roles, we'd rather have them educated by us, supervised by us, and involved with us, and it will not affect. They're not going to be able to come in and vote and change the way that we run our organization.
Yeah, so various point of information that with our governance structure, this will remain a non-voting.
Correct.
Correct.
Correct. And they can't have certain leadership roles, and they can't take certain courses that will be reserved for physicians based on criteria that we'll establish. So it will be specific.
Thank you.
Great, please,
Barry?
please.
Yeah, let me say a couple things. One is, I think you would be ill-advised to take away a membership you've already given to someone because you changed the bylaws. So I think these 24 people should be protected that you have.
Grandfather, yeah.
That should not apply. The second thing is, this doesn't say that someone has to be someone that I work with. It just says that I have to sponsor them. So I can sponsor someone who is not in my practice according to what that says. And so I just think you need to be aware of that. And the third thing is that you're going to have to be real careful that if you're going to use that as a proviso, you ought to probably say something about what happens if the fellow member leaves the academy, dies, retires. What happens with the status of that advanced practitioner, since we're going to assume that they're going to stick around forever. So as I read this says that once I've been sponsored and I'm in forever, regardless of my practice status changes before I started. So I think that is probably correct. I advise you that's what you're saying with this amendment.
My understanding as we move forward with this, that as they renew every year, they will need a sponsor, and if they have changed the fellow members, that's more in the, that's not
It's
in
more
the
in the
bylaws, more in
policy.
the policy and how we move forward. It will be there.
It's an annual sponsorship for
Yeah.
renewal membership.
But there was another question.
Was there
Well, that wasn't
another
recommended
comment?
by legal.
I think if it's going to be an annual sponsorship, then the bylaws ought to reflect that it's an annual sponsorship. The way the bylaw reads now is, you're sponsored, you're in. So I don't really know that it makes a difference to me one way or the other personally, but I do think that if that's the concept, that's what the bylaws ought to read.
Thank you.
Point of information, are all academy memberships annual? We have members who've been dropped for non-payment. So
Yes.
I'm just wondering if we do not need a clarification in our bylaws while understanding the point, because all of our membership is annual.
All of our membership annual.
Correct.
Let me clarify that. We have a handful from a long time ago of lifetime memberships.
Understood.
I think they're very few. Dr. Killen's one.
Yeah,
Not.
please.
Nice to meet you guys again from yesterday. First observation is I'm surprised that we have to make an amendment to something that was done last year. So obviously whatever that was done last year was not done correctly, which is why we have to do an amendment. The thing that I am curious is, does the advanced practice provider have to be working in the field of physiatry? Or could they be working, say, for family practice or hospitalist and still be a member if they get sponsored by a physiatrist?
Our intention is that they are in a collaborative practice with a physiatrist.
Yeah, but that's different from actually working as in physiatry. Like I mentioned yesterday, I do have some family practice physicians, some internists who do directorships in subacutes and nursing homes, but we don't plan to bring them in because they're basically not in physiatry.
Certainly we're hoping that physiatrists who are sponsoring these advanced practice practitioners are doing them in an appropriate manner and they're not trying to subvert the system. It's not helping our specialty if a physiatrist is trying to sponsor APPs who work for other specialists. So I would hope that our physiatrists would not do that.
I would prefer to have it in the bylaw rather than hope.
Thank you for your comment.
Thank you. Yeah. Next, and please over here, and then Dr. Bell.
Wondering why it says that the membership committee shall determine in its sole discretion what constitutes a PA or nurse practitioner rather than having some discrete requirements written out for that. I wouldn't think that would be that hard, or is the membership committee going to meet on every advanced practice professional that's applying to decide whether they're
Just
qualified or credentialed?
I
The issue has to do, a number of issues. I mean, there's some state law issues, and there's also, for clarification, we have the same sort of review of membership applications also about different training programs and different certifications internationally that we review.
Thank you. Dr. Bell?
I would just like to say that, I do not want the Academy snooping into my practice. And if I sponsor an APP as a fellow member, I really don't think I have to supply an affidavit to the Academy on what my practice is. And I would find that highly intrusive to be quizzed about my practice if as a fellow member, I submit somebody for sponsorship. So I don't really think that's appropriate.
Thank you. Other comments, discussion? We have a motion. Dr. Zumsig, one last. You only get 3 times at the microphone. This is it.
Thanks, boss. For the benefit of the membership, I just want to clarify that a vote for this motion would change to a model of sponsorship. A vote against the motion would maintain current bylaws where there is no sponsorship, there's direct membership.
That's
Correct.
correct. Thank you. So we have a motion, a second. Any further discussion? Call for the vote. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Thank you. Any abstentions? The ayes have it. Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Vennessy.